Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Digital Against COVID-19 Challenge webinar organized by the Asian Development Bank. My name is Mark. I work for ADB within the IT department. And I'm pleased to spend some time today with you to walk you through this exciting initiative that we've launched a few weeks ago. Next slide, please. So a couple of words about the Asian Development Bank. We are a 50 years old organization that has been set up to support and fund the development of infrastructure in the Asia Pacific region to make the region a more prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable region. You'll find a lot of additional information on ADB, but we typically fund large infrastructure projects, whether they are dam, roads, energy infrastructure, or transport infrastructure. Next, please. In the past few weeks, months, the COVID-19 crisis has represented a huge challenge to governments in the region, to populations in the region, and ADB has stepped up to support the governments in the region to address the situation. We've made additional funding available, technical assistance to respond to the needs, whether it's on the health sector with testing equipment, protection equipment, and others, direct budget support to government who are rolling out social package, support program, and others. Next, please. In that context, the role of digital is obviously key, and our digital innovation unit, which is aligned with the overall strategy of ADB in the region and capture into a digital agenda 2030, aims at using emerging technology to address challenges, both from inside the organization as well as in support of our department that are externally facing. In that context, a lot of the work that we're doing requires co-design and involvement with the startup, R&D, entity of large organization, university, etc. So from the get-go, when we launched the Sandbox program, we've set up an open innovation platform that allows us to crowdsource solution. We've run a number of challenges already, focusing on the ADB internal or external thematic areas. And in the context of COVID-19, we were approached by a number of organizations to run such challenges. Next slide, please. We framed our Digital Against COVID-19 2020 hackathon not so much into the now problems, but mostly about shaping the future and how this crisis will affect how we live, how we access government services, how we educate our younger generation, etc. So we've launched this as a long-term 6 to 9 months program that will work with a startup, private entity, university, our own ADB employees to find solutions and ideas to using digital against COVID-19. Next, please. So for those of you who have joined this webinar, and thanks again for taking the time, there are multiple ways you can get involved in shaping this new normal and contributing to ideas and solution. As individual, regardless of where you're based, you're invited to come and bring your own skill set to shaping this new future. The benefit for you as an individual is to join talented teams of individuals who will be working together to address solutions or generate new ideas to tackle this new situation as we emerge from the COVID-19 crisis. Whether you are an IT specialist, you're a designer, you're a subject matter expert, or you bring other product development, marketing, etc. expertise that would be useful for specific challenges. Next, please. We've got two main buckets. The first one is about getting ideas to come out of that situation. And we're looking for ideas in 4 different thematic areas. The first one is on health and well-being. The second one is on education. Economic development is the third, and enhancing institution, which is really about public service delivery and governance, is a fourth thematic area. So throughout the entire hackathon, the 9 months hackathon, we'll be looking for ideas that could move the needle in these areas. The second bucket, next slide please, is really about identifying and coming up with solution to specific challenges. Here we're looking at shorter, typically 3 months specific challenges that are and will be launched in the coming months. And we really want teams to come together to suggest solutions that will then be piloted within the context of ADB. Now, those solutions might come from, might be pre-existing or might be developed during the process. If they're pre-existing, it would be an opportunity to apply those solutions into a different context. And it can be a different geographic context, or it can be sort of horizontal shift for a solution that was developed in a given industry or thematic area and could be applied in another one. Creativity and innovation are the keywords here, and we're really looking for innovative solutions to be submitted. Next slide, please. The point of this process, the challenge, is really to find those innovative solutions and to test them, not just to find them. And so we would work with the selected team to further test and develop within the ADB context with development partners, with government entity and others to build a minimum viable product that will come out of that process so that it can be tested. We are putting up to $50,000 per pilot for testing. Next, please. The overall hackathon timeline is as presented here. So it's basically a 9-month program with 3 rounds. So one that started early May, the next one that will start in August, and then in November. During these 3 rounds, we will be launching those specific challenges where we're looking for solution, whereas throughout the entire duration of the hackathon, we're sourcing ideas that can come at any time along the 4 themes that were mentioned earlier. The process of each specific challenge is as described here, and my colleagues will go into the details for those challenges that are already posted, but there will be a number of evaluation and guideline, etc. So now I'll hand over to them so that they talk about those specific challenges that they are championing, and they will present the specific timeline and what are the specific solutions we are after. Over to you, please. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Hampel and I am an economist at the Asian Development Bank. I've been studying small businesses for over a decade and I'm very passionate about their growth and success. I've lived a significant portion of my life between Asia and Europe, and I have to be honest, I love to shop. I am amazed that wherever I am in the world, micro, small, and medium enterprises dominate all types of businesses. Did you know that MSMEs employ the most people in total and contribute significantly to the country's total economic activity? However, unlike bigger enterprises, MSMEs lack sufficient financial reserves to survive external shocks, and if they are informal and unregistered, which is the case for a majority of MSMEs in developing countries, they are less able to tap credit. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has massively disrupted the operations of MSMEs worldwide, and that resulted in income losses and the closure of many businesses. To help them to transition from crisis to recovery, it is very crucial for MSMEs to gain access to finance. Now, to gain access to finance, they need to borrow money, and lenders usually require a proof of credit worthiness of the borrower. This is typically a credit score. To create a credit score, credit agencies use standardized approaches and use conventional sources of information to generate an estimate of the borrower's probability for payment or for default. However, as we all know, we are living in interesting times, and a conventional credit scoring mechanism might not be optimal or might not work. Together with the IT department of the Asian Development Bank, we designed the challenge entitled Digital Technology to increase credit access for MSMEs. So the objective of this challenge is very simple. We want to increase the inclusivity of scoring mechanisms of financial service providers in order to help MSMEs recover during and even after the pandemic. There are 3 tracks where participants could join in this challenge. The first one is the alternative credit score based on traditional approaches. So this track acknowledges that the banking system is still heavily anchored on traditional credit scoring mechanisms. Financial institutions might not be ready to fully depart from the tried and tested means of credit scoring, but perhaps may be convinced to explore additional sources of borrower information. So this track, what we want to do is we want to ask, can we tweak traditional credit scoring to include equally significant elements that proxy credit behavior? The second track is about behavioral attributes. So the second track looks at behavioral attributes, for example, monthly subscriptions, childcare payments, remittances, shopping history, property records, education, occupation, and even social media presence to create a credit score. In here, big data and machine learning play a major role in creating predictive models for alternative credit scoring. So in this track, what we want to ask is, what data on consumer behavior can be used to create an alternative credit score? So in this approach, clearly all data is credit data, so it opens up the use of all kinds of data. Therefore, regulatory issues, including issues about privacy, transparency, discrimination, they need to be closely considered by the participants and the teams. The final track is industry-specific credit scoring. So this track is more tailored. We know that MSMEs operate in highly specific sectors that may be differentially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. We also know that some financial institutions are only interested in certain risk information, which could be present only in certain sectors. So in this track, what we want to ask is, will sector or industry-specific credit scoring shed more light on creditworthiness? So for this challenge, applications are open until 30 June, after which we will announce the 10 shortlisted teams. The shortlisted teams could then request to be mentored by ADB specialists, or if we don't have the capacity in-house, we could also connect you to experts worldwide to help guide you in fine-tuning your proposals. Pitching is scheduled for 31st of July, and if you want more details, you could find them on the challenge website. Winning teams will get a chance to win 10,000 US dollars, a chance to implement their solutions with the Asian Development Bank, and most importantly, a chance to help MSMEs in their recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. So do register and send in your projects. We are very excited to see the fresh solutions you'll be coming up with. Thanks and goodbye.
Hi everyone, my name is Nagraj Rao and I'm a statistician in the Statistics and Data Innovation Unit of the Asian Development Bank. I'll be talking about this specific challenge, which is on nowcasting the economic impact of COVID-19. As we all grapple with the health-related impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, another significant challenge that pretty much every country is simultaneously trying to tackle with is its economic impact. This is not a trivial problem, and in order for governments to effectively and swiftly respond to the economic slowdown that's being caused by this outbreak, they need timely and reliable data. And this is where I think we have a tragedy of data. Official macroeconomic statistics such as GDP, retail sales, exports and imports, tourism-related indicators, inflation, remittances, and many other such indicators are not only reported on a monthly, quarterly, or a yearly basis, but also come with a substantial lag. And that lag can last anywhere from a few weeks for some countries to several months for others. And that's obviously not very helpful when countries are trying to respond to this crisis on a real-time basis. Solutions will require real-time data. So that's really the crux of this challenge. Can we use big data to develop viable proxy indicators to traditional economic indicators to track on a real-time basis COVID-19's impact on economic activity in Asia and the Pacific? The indicators that we are interested in have been divided across four broad themes: production, demand, external trade and income, and prices. Now, we don't expect you to find solutions for all indicators and for all ADB developing member countries, although if you can, that would be fantastic. However, a subset is just fine. Every team is likely to pick different indicators or different countries. What really matters is the precision of your nowcast and the novelty of the methodology and the data that you're using to arrive at your results. So we encourage you to be as creative as you can about the source of data that you're using, be it nighttime lights, be it power consumption, transit data, mobility data, traffic, news, social media, pollution, weather, retailer APIs. The universe of big data sources and modeling techniques that are available are quite vast. So please go ahead, be creative, but do make sure that you've legitimately procured the data that you're using for this challenge. The challenge has four stages. In the first stage, which is the application stage, we'll provide you with benchmark data for a range of macroeconomic indicators for our developing member countries. But in order for you to receive this data against which you can test your proposed methodology or benchmark it, you'll need to fill out and send us a fair data use agreement that's available on the challenge website. I've listed the challenge website at the bottom left corner of this slide. I encourage you to submit this fair data use agreement at the earliest so that you have more time to work on your challenge. Your proposal should be submitted to us by June 26th for due consideration and must include the name and professional backgrounds for all members of your team and a deck of slides which contains the idea and the value proposition, details on the core technology, data inputs, and the research methodology that you're implementing, evidence of the accuracy of your proposed methodology and the results that you're getting, and an explanation on why the data that you've selected are logical proxies for the specified economic indicators that you've chosen. We also want to learn about how you are going to maintain this product in the long run should you be chosen as one of the winners. From here, we arrive at stage 2, where up to 20 submissions will be shortlisted to proceed to the final round. The deliverables that will be judged will be according to a selection criteria that has been determined by a jury that comprises of experts on this topic. Shortlisted teams will be notified by July 3rd. In the third stage, the shortlisted teams will be paired with ADB experts to further understand the context of the problem. So we want to clarify and give you more information and help you refine your proposed solution. The mentoring process will start from July 4th and will end on July 10th. In the final stage, which starts on July 16th, shortlisted teams will have a final opportunity to present their fine-tuned solutions to the jury, from which the winners will be selected and will be announced on July 20th. I hope that I've not overwhelmed you with a lot of information, but I also hope that you're just as excited about this challenge as I am, and I really look forward to receiving your submissions. Please do feel free to reach out to me at the email that I've provided at the bottom left corner of the slide in case you have any questions. All the best, good luck, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you to all our presenters. I hope you found this webinar extremely useful. Please use the QR code below to find out more about the challenge, and we look forward to having you join us in shaping